Okay, welcome everybody. Another Wednesday getting started here, and people are just still cramming in here. I'll just be keeping my eyes on that. I don't have a moderator with me. I have a moderator on all my other calls, handling my everybody coming in, breakout rooms. There's another one, breakout rooms and helper bees and all that other good stuff. But here I'm solo. I am flying solo. Well, welcome to this Wednesday morning, where we are, on Wednesdays, I do training here in the community that, at least for now, this level we're talking about, what we're going to do and create with some of the levels here. I've got my private clients that I work with and on a semi-private and a totally private level. And I was working with one of my peoples yesterday and talking about I've got a course that I'm thinking about putting something together called Know What to Say, and a scripts course that is already done, but I'm thinking about how I'm going to position it. I might have that in as a paid level maybe in the next few months, because it comes with a live coaching call on closing prospects. And that is something that my private clients already get. But I was looking at, could I open that up for people wanting just to learn how to close and learn how to have conversations and stuff like that? And so if you are a private client of mine, you already get that. But we are thinking about that to give people more opportunity to learn at a higher level, which that's something that's on the docket. I was actually talking to, like, what do we need to do for that? It sounds easy to say to do that, but there's like infrastructure that comes with these things. Ooh, yeah. So we're talking about that. There's other things on the plate that we're working on. Hopefully you'll have something else really very, very cool in the next week. I'm a huge advocate of tools that'll help people advance in their business, because I was very fortunate to have some incredible, incredible people in my life over the course of the 20 plus years I've been in business. Well, my one company is actually 31 years old. I was incorporated that when I was very young in my 20s. And I started in network marketing in 2001. And, one thing that I was always aware of is that the better I became, the more money I made. And I just knew that. And I had somebody tell me once, Jen, your check as you see it right now is what your skill and your personal growth level are worth. And I was like, okay, well, I got to get better. And so I just kept growing over the years, and, in becoming that person who was worthy of earning a multi six-figure income. And, I continued. That was not the end point, even when I got to that level. Um, I kept growing and investing, and you become that person. And it's always a reflection of who we are and what we do. And I will always talk about my three master skills, and I talk about the three reasons why we get stuck. The three master skills are prospecting, closing, selling them, right? And then retaining, which and launching and retaining. So people, if you have a business where you bring on other business builders or agents or something like that, that's one facet of your long term, your third master skill. But the second one is retaining customers to come back and keep buying. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you need them to keep coming back or referring to you. So that's the third master skill. But in our business, our personal master skills come with, there's three reasons why we're stuck or we're growing. And the first one, you'll hear me repeat this all the time, because I sat back, I oh boy, when was it? It was about 10 years ago. I thought to myself, why do people get stuck? how can I help people get unstuck? Because I was about 10 years ago, I was leading my own team. And then I started working with other people in my company as well, helping lift the entire, everybody, not just me. Like, what is it? All ships rise with the tide, or you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about? That saying. And so I'm like, well, I'm not just going to help my own team. I'm going to help everybody. And it raised up my entire team, and the company, could come in on everything I was doing. And I thought, how can I express to people what causes being stuck, you know? And how can we fix these things? And I'm going to go into the three things. I've got something else for you, but I'm speaking just in general. This is not the three things. There is more things, more technical things, more get your hands in the dirt kind of things. But I sat back and I thought to myself, what causes people to be stuck? And the first thing is they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. I got a video sent to me. I wish I could play it for you through. I should do it. Let me see if I can do it. Uh, Somebody that works with me, many of you know Laura. She sent me this video yesterday, and I'm like, oh, that is so true. Because I often get, you know, let me see, where's my messages? It's on Instagram. Messages. Let's see if I can pull this up. No, don't turn on the message. I gotta find it. Okay, mind you, this is Gary Vaynerchuk. He he says lots of F words, which is fine in my world. But I'm giving you a disclaimer. If your ears are going to burn, just be aware.
One of the many reasons why I love him.
I know, me too. When I was a child, you guys, I've always been very expressive. And I think by the time I was 10, I probably ate at least 3 bars of soap. Like, it was terrible. But and my mom, she's like, you haven't even changed. And it's, you were a little, yeah, it happens. Okay, so let me share this with you. This is Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay, you ready? I don't know, he's talking to some guy about, Gary talks about going to garage sales and getting your stuff sold and, et cetera. So this is him talking to this guy. It was very applicable to whether you're in network marketing, direct sales, you have your own small business, in anything. This was so accurate when I heard this. Can you guys hear it? No?
You got to turn the speaker on the video.
Oh, duh.
How many people?
One after the other, one after
How many?
the other.
Give me a real fucking number.
Like 25.
Are you fucking out of your mind, Dick? 25. 100 a day. You want money. You're asking for money. You can't ask 25 fucking people in your...
But I can't ask anybody, just anybody.
Not true.
Well, you're going to say otherwise.
I'm going to say otherwise. Here's why. At night, from 8 o'clock to midnight, instead of whatever the fuck you're doing, lay down, have the TV in the background, have a beverage of choice, and fucking bang on LinkedIn. Hit up more people. Don't get in your own head. 25 people. You're going to get 1 out of every 500. 1 out of every 500 are going to answer you. But if you send 3,000, you have 6 meetings. And then if you go 1 for 6, you have your first real investor, and then your whole life changes. Are you fucking out of your mind, Dick? 25.
How do I get some investors?
By email messaging them on LinkedIn.
They don't respond.
How many?
A lot.
How many people?
One after the other, one after
How many?
the other.
Give me a real fucking number.
Like 25.
Are you fucking out of your mind, Dick? 25.
So that was the repeat when I couldn't get the volume to work. So, it takes massive action. It really does. And so when I saw that, I told Laura, I said, people, until you're in momentum, it takes so much to get there. And that's why when I looked back at my own career and I'm like, what has put me in momentum before. And it's this massive, massive action. And so I was able to, hold on a second. I don't allow note takers in here. Um, I I looked back and I thought the first thing is massive action. You're not doing enough, or you're not doing enough. That's mostly what it is. And, like Gary's talking there to that guy. He's, somebody, why I reached out to 25 people. He's like, no. Like we got the I think when we were in the peak of momentum, we were enrolling uh I've been in momentum to where I enrolled 100 a month, and then the last time I was in momentum was about 40 a month. And to get to that, how many people did I present to, and thinking about that, or how many people did I get in front of every month? This is before ads, when I was really hitting the momentum, back when I got to six figures in 2012. It was, trying to think, 40 Saturn, just trying to do the math in my head. I bet you Monty and I were in front of about 250 people a month to get enrolling 40. And a lot of those people were already in the business. We were keeping them enrolling and retaining. But in order to, my closing ratio live, which I'm very aware of, like face to face, is about 90%. When I'm with somebody, it's about 90% in a room. And he was a little bit different of an enroller, Monty was. So he's more of a one-on-one. I'm the presenter. He's more of a one-on-one kind of person. So we were taking massive action. And one of the things is you look at how much output you're doing and what your result is. And if you want double the result, you double your output, right? It's kind of simple, but most people doesn't connect that. And so the action thing is the first. And the second reason why people are stuck is because lack of skill. They're not doing it right. They might be doing stuff, but they might not be doing it right. So again, with that one is leveling up your skill, right? And very simple. The third thing is what's going on here between your ears. If you want to earn, 6, 7 figures, maybe even 8 figures, this has to change every step of the way. You have to become that person who is an executive type, and then an investor type, a business type, like Kiyosaki talks about. And that a lot has to change in between your ears. And you're sometimes surprised as you go down that road. And if anybody's had that experience, drop it in the chat, where you started earning a lot of money and it was like uncomfortable, or you got scared, or you started feeling fear that you didn't know was even there. I mean, you think, oh, I'm going to make all this money, and there was a research study that was done. I got to fix the audio on this thing. There was a research study that was done that said if we took all the money in the world and we put it across, everybody was equal, within 2 years, it would be exactly the same as it is today. And that goes into it. The simple thing on that is it is really about personal growth and how people would handle and manage. And my example is my cousin, who, let's say, she has not worked on herself. We'll put it that way. One of those people in the family that were just like, oh, okay, again with that one. And she inherited $60,000 just in November. And she was going to ask me and my brother-in-law how to invest it. Well, she never did that. And this is all the money she had in the world was $60,000 from selling her house. And I would say within 6 weeks, it was all gone. All gone. I mean, the stuff she bought was so dumb. And it's gone. Now she bought a camper. She sold it. She's got $2,500 to her name now because she had $0. And that's a person what I'm talking about. It's like not, this is not right. So, you're never going to go wrong investing in yourself because nobody can take it away from you. And that's one thing I learned, over the time. I would think, well, why is that person walking across the stage getting awards and I'm working really hard and I'm not making more money? And I learned these things and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, sometimes that mirror is, you look into it and you say, okay, what do we need to work on today? What is the thing that, and I ask myself sometimes, I usually do it before bed when I'm stuck. I'm like, I go to bed and I sleep on it and I say, if I can't see it, I ask for it to be revealed to me in my dream and that I will remember it in the morning. And it usually percolates up the next day at some point, like because sometimes you don't remember your dreams, but it percolates up. And I listen for the like either people having a conversation with me, or I look at like my own thoughts, or I think about that, and then the message always comes through why I'm stuck, or I'll ask for somebody in my life to come who can help me fix this problem, and they always show up. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. And I always know that when I show up in people's life, that they probably are asking for somebody to show up to help them. So anyways, this is not even what I was going to teach you guys today, but I always get like excited because this is my favorite thing. I love helping people in business get unstuck and move forward and grow. And we can't do it alone. It is something we cannot do alone. If we think we can get to our goals by ourselves, we are very wrong. And even if you don't have mentors and stuff, you need customers. And if you're in a network marketing, real estate, insurance business, you need agents and things, as well. So like, yeah. So I'm like, this is my favorite thing to help you. That's why I'm doing these Wednesday mornings for people that may not have the budget yet to get help, mentored help, or people that just need more help. Like I always need more help. I'm always listening to something. It's never ending. I feel like Neo in the Matrix when he's uploading all the programs right now. That's how my life is. I'm learning like 3 new major things, and I feel like I'm just sitting in the chair and they're uploading all the programs into my brain because stuff is changing so fast with at the world of advertising, and with the AI and Facebook and Google, and so many things are changing, and keeping up with that and knowing what is good and what is not good to put in your brain is always another thing, because everybody, I could tell you, I work with some of the best marketers in the industry or in the world, and everything they do is incredible to get you to buy. And sometimes I think, well, what if this person's just a really good copywriter or something, and is this thing that they have really legit if they're trying to sell? Okay, so let's get into these 3 big mistakes that is holding you back. And I went into my 3 things, and that's Jen's philosophy of the universe. But, I've got a little more tactical thing for you on this, and things that could be holding you back. And we're going to talk about how to fix them, because, there's 5 bazillion reasons why. But I like to put things into little bites of 3 because we can remember 3, right? 2, well, if 1 goes away, they're lonely. And then three's, I don't think 3's a crowd. Even when we have, like, I have horses. And if with horses, they get buddy. And so if they're in a pasture together, you only have 2, you take 1 out, the other one loses its mind, right? That's why you need 3, at least 3. Okay. So the same goes with our mistakes. Okay. So, I've been stuck many times in my business, and sometimes it's a short time and sometimes it's a long time. And I know that it could be frustrating and like, what's going on with me? Like, why can I not move forward? And you feel like you're spinning your wheels, and you are, you're stuck, right? Especially if you've been in business for at least a year or two, and you're working hard and you're posting every day and you're even doing your ads, and your ads are either awesome or your ads are maybe not working, and you're just not seeing that growth that you want. And, that is something that I hear a lot. I see it a lot, I hear it a lot, and I've been there, and I find that it's our fault, but it's also not, because I was talking to Monty, oh gosh, it was like the other day, and I said, believe it or not, I'm an extreme introvert, and I had serious social anxiety talking to people. And I told him, I said, I learned skills, it was about 2007, that allowed me to have a conversation with anybody, anywhere, didn't matter who they were. And it was a very simple 4-step process. And that's what I go into, even into my Know What to Say, training that, has got some of this in there, because to me it was so impactful. And I said, once I had those 4 tools, I could talk to anybody. I really didn't have social anxiety anymore. I said, why don't they teach that to children? I mean, how many kids are going around in the world shy and locking down and anxious because they don't know how to talk to people? Just simple little things that they could do. There's an acronym that we use, and that could be empowering to them, and you feel like something is wrong with you, but you're just not equipped properly, right? And so the reason why you're stuck may or may not be directly, it's all up to you. Of course it is. But sometimes, I think most of the time, we're just not given tools. And so I see it, like I said, I was talking to Monty about kids and thinking, boy, if they just learn how to talk to people instead of some of these other silly things they're making them learn, it would be awesome, for them to be able to have conversations. And unfortunately, today they can go telephone, write me this thing, and they don't even really need to know how to communicate very well. Very concerning. Different topic, different day. But I'm going to cut through some of that noise and help you with what we're doing today. And these are some pretty big things, and then how to fix them. So I want you to make sure you got your pen, your paper, and the first thing that I was thinking about when I was doing this is that when you rely on, when you were talking about marketing right now, I'm shifting you over into marketing and, actual, like, being on, out there promoting yourself. And one of the biggest mistakes is relying too much on organic posting only. And some of you who are doing a great job with it, but you might notice that it's not getting seen. And the organic posting thing, to get really to where you get the momentum on it, it's completely strategic. And you've got to, like, really kowtow and understand the algorithm to get that going organically. And that is not a bad thing. I'm not saying don't post organically, but a lot of people are posting like 2 to 3 times a day, and they're not getting any traction. And it's great for relationships. It's great for staying visible. You can even run some ads behind those posts, especially on your pages or on your Instagram, to get that reach even further. But if you're spending like all day posting, creating videos, and you're not seeing any change, it means that something's not right. It's one of those things where it's not right, or you're missing the thing that's triggering the algorithm to show your stuff, because you're not getting engagement. And that's all that Facebook really wants. You got to remember, Facebook wants one thing, and it wants you to stay on Facebook, and it wants all of your customers to stay on Facebook. And everything that we do has to lend to that consumption. So, organic reach is limited. And if it's the sole strategy, that's why you got to remember, Facebook and Instagram are in a business, and I see all the time, like, especially people that are not in business, they'll post like they get mad that they do these copy and paste things. And if I paste this on my wall, you're not going to run ads or you're not going to share my private information. You guys seen that before? I'm like, oh my gosh, go back and read your terms that you agreed to when you are here on this platform. And so it's a business. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Google. I mean, it's all a business. And what the business does, and if there's a pro and a con to it, paid content is going to get prioritized. But people think, well, why can't my stuff get seen, for free? And the thing is, there are like over 2 billion users on Facebook. How can they prioritize your stuff with against all those other people? Like you would see nothing of anybody's of relevance to yourself, like in your own stream. You'd be like, so one of the things is when you have paid content, it prioritizes over the sea of everything out there. So I think it's actually good that people have the option to get their stuff seen. And that's really, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if you're in business, you need to have an advertising budget. It's part of being a professional business owner. And if you're in network marketing, you're in real estate, everybody should have an advertising budget. It's part of doing business. You cannot do business without a budget at all, even if it's $10. Like, it's got to be something. And that's when people are posting and spending 8 hours a day creating this content, and they're wondering why it's not getting anywhere. Think about what your time is worth. This is one thing that was really an eye-opener for me. Was a lot of people, including myself, would be like, I'm just going to put in the time and I'm going to post and I'm going to get it seen. And, if you're spending 8 hours a day and you're putting that content together, filming and reels and video editing and your graphics, and you're putting all the stuff in, I'm looking here, like even on my phone, if you say have 40 hours in a week, and what if you made one sale and you made $25, you just made $1.60 an hour. So is it better to do that or to do a couple strategic posts and put a little bit of money behind it, where you're actually, what is your true value worth? I mean, that's something you look at, like, what is my time worth? And can I leverage, is it cheaper for me to advertise than it is for me to spend 8 hours? Truly. And I look at that even in when I hire people and things and stuff like that in my own, my house, it's like, well, I could clean my own house, or should I, what's my time valued at? Or is it cheaper for me to hire somebody to clean my house? Am I better spent like doing my job, or is it better spent scrubbing my toilets? Now, trust me, they're satisfying going into the toilets, but I just don't have time. So I have to break down, what is my time really worth? And the same is with other things. And one of those things is I told one lady, I was on the phone with her. She was, somebody that was, thinking about coming and working with me. And I did the math. She was spending 4 to 6 hours a day. And I think she was, I said, well, how many people did you enroll in your business last month? She said 2 or 3. I said, well, how much did you make per person? And I said, she didn't like this math. I said, well, she had 3 people. Let's be generous and say she made $100. So she made $300. So she had 40 times 4, 160 hours in that month doing 4 I'll give her the credit. That was 8 hours. Let's just do 4 hours a day times 40 hours a week. Or I'm sorry, you guys, my math is not working right this morning. 4 times 5 times 4. So that's 80 hours a month. Let's do 80. Even being very generous, because I don't think she made $100 a person, but I just am using it for this example. This was from a while ago. I've been teaching Facebook ads and online marketing since 2016. I don't remember everybody's numbers directly. But if I give her the benefit of the doubt that she enrolled 3 people, made $100 a person at 4 hours a day, she made $3.75 an hour. And I said, do you think it would be a better idea to learn how to run ads? You know, like, or do you like spending $3 or being paid only $3.75 an hour? She didn't, she's like, yeah, that's really very true. So, you know, that, because, you know, in her situation, you know, she was worried the ads weren't going to work for her. And, you know, it's very important to have like a clear strategy in place before you invest in ads, you know, and know what you're doing. I mean, it's really important to do that because Facebook will take all your money and they don't care if you get results. Unfortunately, you know, you can think about your organic posting as a way to nurture people, but then you have to come up with a paid strategy. It's gonna have to fuel like the rocket fuel underneath to support the organic posting, but it goes together. Like you can't rely on it. I also think now things are changing and shifting on Facebook, where in Instagram, especially, where you can't rely only on ads either. You need to have your social organic component. So it's both. Like they feed together. For a long time, it was organic only, and then it became ads only for a long time. And now we're in the middle of a change back to organic that complements the paid. They don't, neither one of them can stand alone unless you are spending a bazillion hours a day on the platforms and you know how to hack the algorithm. I mean, really, that's it. But truthfully, it's way more work than to just flip an ad on and let an ad bring you leads every day. You create the ad once, you flip it on, the leads come to you, and then you're spent. That's the one thing that people often don't remember is that you still have to nurture the leads. You still have to follow up. You still need to get them enrolled. You still need to mentor them when they're in your business. If you're spending 8 hours a day with organic content, chasing people down, you don't have no time to really, what really matters is once you capture the lead, now you need to nurture the lead and you need to, even once they purchase, our goal, who's here's goal is to get repetitive business. You want people to keep ordering. So now you got to have the plan in place to keep them ordering. It's not just the enrollment. The enrollment if for network marketers is the easiest part. I'm going to tell you it's the easiest part. The hardest part of all is to keep business builders going. That's a different day. It's a different day. But, you know, so that, you know, that's the first mistake is, you know, only relying on organic and not having that facet in there for the paid. Now, the second thing I want to talk about with these mistakes is that, you know, a lot of people, they sit down and they write an ad or they do a post or they create a page and they don't have any real depth of an idea of who their customer or the business person that they're looking for is. They start throwing stuff out there and they don't have a strategy. So you need to be, you know, plugged into who is that person and you give them what they want through the content. You know, what are they looking for? What is what you have going to help them with? Why would they want to buy what you have? Or why would they want to join your team and do a business with you? We've got to understand that psychology is that this is a huge mistake that people make is they don't understand this. And they think that everybody is their prospect. And that's not true. Even if the product or service or business could help everybody, it's not everybody's not your ideal prospect, especially in marketing. When we're offline, we can kind of take the, everybody's my prospect. I mean, I talk to people, I could get into a conversation and always weave in my product. And that's how I enrolled like almost everybody. But online, you can't do that. And that is why when I tried doing, like, I was very successful offline building network marketing. And when I came online, it took me 7 years to figure out and crack how to run ads right. I did organic posting. I did lots of sellification, we called it back then. It's where you sell and you educate at the same time. And I didn't enroll anybody because I was trying to enroll everybody. If you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand marketing to a specific person. And so, you've got to, I give you a little exercise. I want you to write this down, when you're done with listening to this, is to write down who is your dream customer or business builder, if you're looking for that. And then what do they want? What do they want? Like, what do you solve? And what are they struggling with that's keeping them stuck? And if I asked you all this question, could you answer me exactly who that is? If I started, I don't have time. I wish I did, where I could start. I got a 10 o'clock appointment, but where I ask everybody, like, if I started going into all of you, who is that person? What is their problem? What's keeping them up at night? And how do you solve it? And it's not time freedom, more money is not the answer. I'm going to tell you, time freedom and being broke is not the problem and the answer of fixing. It's other stuff. So everybody's, well, they're broke and they want more time. That's not the answer. So you want to understand this person or group of people, and that's how you develop your ads and your organic content, is through that. And most people, this is extra work, right? They don't do it. They typically think this, well, I'm just going to, post about my products. And they just are posting about all their products. And they're posting their links to go buy the products. And, it doesn't get them anywhere. They're educating on the product. Well, this product does this, and this product does this. And they're not speaking in a voice that speaks directly to that person. And even if you have products that are fun, like I have a client who, she was making fingernail polish. Like, she made and blended her own fingernail polish, like, and sold it. And I said, well, we need to take you, and how do we, like, I got nail polish right here. Like, how are you different than this? What's special about what you do? Who's your people? And we really dug into it, and we came up with a really cool position where her ads started crushing. We actually came up with, we made a quiz on how each fingernail polish that she blends represents a superhero facet within yourself. And we had people take a little quiz, and it would guide them to what nail polish like that represents. And it crushed it. So, like, do you see how we could take something like nail polish and set her aside from every 5 bazillion nail polish brands out there? I mean, this lady made her own nail polish. Like, she blended it in her house. I'm like, that is amazing. People need to know that. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying this. And what was their problem was they were most people these days are stressed, and they need a little mental oasis. And having fun with this polish was the angle that we took. And it was really a fun thing. So that's what I'm talking about. And once we hit that, we spent the time figuring it out. When she launched her ads, it was like a dart right in the middle of the dartboard, because we took the time, and most people don't want to take the time. and then they throw stuff out there and the ads fail and they're too generic, or they get in trouble with Facebook compliance because they're using their, their company links and stuff like that. And that there's a lot of stuff that Facebook doesn't want you to do, but they do want you to do your business. And so we see that a lot, but this particular one was super fun working on that one because it was very different and unique. But the real thing is to, get into the head of your prospect and think about what keeps them up at night. What are they Googling at 2 a.m. in the morning? What is causing them to, seek escape outlets? Why are they doing some of the maybe vices that they're doing, or why are they stressed? You got to really dig down. And then once you come up with, you got to ask, why, what does that cause? What does that cause? You get more and more specific down to even what they're thinking in their mind in the exact situation, So when you understand these main pain points and the desires that they have, then you can create messages that speak directly into them. And that's when magic happens. That's when you start getting emails and texts and comments on your posts that, oh my gosh, you're in my head. You understand me. And when you get that, you're nailing it. Okay. So that's the second one. The third one is, jumping into a paid promotion plan, an advertising plan, without a plan, just going in there and, okay, you may not know who it is, you may not know their problem, you're kind of jumping in there, but or you can even figure that out, but then you go in and you don't have a plan. And I work with a lot of people that they just go, because it's honestly, you go into Facebook, it doesn't look hard. Google looks hard. I will tell you that. But Facebook, you can go right now into the ads manager, all of you. If you've got a Facebook account, which you do, you go in and you can go into the ads manager and you can start trying it. But then you get in there and you're like, whoa, they're asking me a lot of questions that I don't know how to answer. And you're guessing on the answer to each checkbox and each option that they give you. And you're hoping that something might magically work. And then when you launch the ad, if you get to that point where you have no errors, no little red signs or exclamation points, if you get to that point and you launch it, and nobody responds to it, then the feedback is it doesn't work. Well, Facebook is like flying a 747 jet plane. There's all these options. And it's like flipping the right levers. And you need a plan, because there's all these different objectives. If you are new here, one of the previous trainings that I did was about the different types of ads that are in Facebook, your choices and what they are. So you can go back and watch that recording. So there's all these options, the right objective. Do you have that correct? Do you have the right targeting? Do you have the right creative to match the people that you want to speak to? So it often doesn't work for people because they don't have the right thing. That makes sense. It's just like we can all drive a car, most of us can, but could we go do a Formula 11 race? No. We can all drive, but we sure as heck can't do that. And that's because they have a skill level on that. So, Facebook ads are just a tool. Instagram ads, just a tool. Other ad platforms, they're just a tool. But that right foundation needs to be in place in order to get that to work. You need to have an offer. You need to have a strong, clear message, which I talked about. And you need to have a strategy that is going to take those leads and turn them into customers or business builders or referring partners or whatever it is, or it doesn't work. You need a framework in order to do that. And it's like trying to bake a cake without a recipe. Some of us maybe could do that. Most of us would probably come up with something interesting. We would come up with maybe something that looks like a tortilla, like flat, or it could be this big. It could taste bad. It might be like sawdust. It may fall apart, right? It might not have enough eggs, but you can have all the ingredients and you got to know how to put them together, right? And it's not going to get the result you want, just like the cake. If you don't, you mix the dry things together and then you mix the wet things together and then you put them together and then you do this and you can't stir it too much or you're going to make a dense cake. And don't jump up and down. I remember as a kid, how many of you, your mom would say, don't jump up and down, you're going to make the cake flat. We'd be tiptoeing through the kitchen as kids. Oh, Mom's baking a cake. It was Betty Crocker cake, by the way. My mom is not a culinary genius by any stretch. She's just so funny, but she'd be making the cake, right? I even remember the pan that she would use was one of this aluminum pan with a little thing in the middle. Do you remember those? Like a quasi bundt cake pan. And then the bottom would lift out, and then she had the cake with a hole in the middle, and she made really great cakes. But I'm obviously must be hungry. But that is, the thing. Even a Betty Crocker box cake, you got to do that right. And so, we have to fix this. And the way you do it is before you run ads, you got to make a plan. You get clear as to who that person is, what their problems are, who are you targeting, what are you going to offer them that's going to incentivize them to respond to the ad and click or buy, get to that point. And then you're going to need to have your follow-up plan in place, which I did talk about a little bit earlier, where once they come into your realm, that's why I love ads so much. People are brought to you, they respond, and now you can do some initial automated responses just to sort out really advertising online or offline. It's a sorting process. Quality of prospect, but also interested, not interested. And, up to the point, you can do a lot of this sorting and then, prospects coming to you through automation. And then once the prospects are really that are interested start to respond to you, then you take them and you start really developing those relationships with them. And you nurture the ones that are kind of in the incubator. Because you'll always hear me say, like, out of 10 prospects that you have, 2 are going to be like amazing. And they're like, we're in. 2 are going to tell you to go stick it in your eyeball, even though they responded to your ad. It's so crazy. And then you got the 6 that are in the incubator. And those are the ones that have to be indoctrinated through the follow-up systems and relationship building and all that as well. So, any business, I hear people say network marketing and direct sales is different because we have to really develop relationships. It's relationship marketing. There's a gentleman that I have followed for years. His name is Jordan Adler. And Jordan had a post the other day and he said, this business is all about relationships. And I said, well, isn't every business? Every business that we go to, like Monty and I went to, so we're in Wisconsin. And if you know anything about Wisconsin, this is the state of supper clubs. Yeah, Sue. Supper clubs. It's a thing. There's a map. We have a map. So you can always put in. So if you're looking for a vacation, you can say supper club map and you can come here and go to supper clubs, right? It's a thing. So we have a new
the best thing.
The best thing. And some of these places are really like stuck in the 1960s. Some are stuck in the 50s. Some have been renovated. It's so funny. Yeah, if you got any good supper clubs, drop them in the chat. Yeah, there's a book, right, Deb? Yeah, we got a couple cheeseheads here. So we have a new one that was actually, it was an old one that got renovated. And it just opened like last year, and they're just getting, what is a supper club? I know it's a whole loaded question. It's like it's not a club like you're paying your dues, but it's a restaurant where they have certain like traditional like supper club, like they've got steaks, they have cocktails, they have
Prime rib on Saturday nights.
prime rib on Saturday nights. They often have a fish fry. Fish fry often goes with it. What are some
Roasted chicken.
chicken? There's a fish like walleye. Especially Wisconsin, it's walleye. It can be perch. So it's then there's these ice cream drinks like with booze in them. It's also about the old fashions, the cocktails. And so like it's this thing, it's really it's fun. And it's like, you go out with your family, your friends, and and the old ones had like dancing, they had dancing or piano players in the background, and it was a bigger thing, that part of it. A lot of places don't have that now, the dancing and music part of it, but sometimes you go in the piano player and stuff like that. So one just reopened, it was redone, reopened last year, and we went, and it was lovely. It was very welcoming, and the manager, everybody was very friendly, and they were accommodating. They came to the table, they were conversational. They were
Which place was it, Jen?
It's the Village Inn, a Village Supper Club
In Lake Geneva?
in Delavan.
Delavan. Okay.
So it is, I think it's the Village. There's a lot of villages around here. Village Supper Club. Because there's the Village Inn and there's the Village Squire, and they're all kind of close. So it's the Village Supper Club in Delavan. So we went, and it was gorgeous inside, beautiful view. But on top of that, you could tell that the people that are doing this are in it for the relationships. And they were welcoming, they came to the table. It was so great. So then we went again, and the same thing. And then we brought friends so do you see, because of that relationship and them touching all the tables, serving, making sure we're happy, beautiful ambiance, you can tell that they're not a business just seeking transactions. They're seeking to develop the relationship, and they've gotten us 3 times in the last few months, and we even brought friends who now are going to bring their friends. So it's not, that business is no different than a Melaleuca distributor or Young Living distributor or paparazzi distributor or a realtor or it doesn't matter. It's all fundamentally the same. Okay. So we got to develop that relationship, and the organic and the ads can work together and push that and accelerate it. So let's do a quick little recap, and then I see a couple questions, and then I gotta jump, and I'm sure a bunch of you gotta jump. So we have my throat. I was not able to get my tea brewed, and I didn't want to record it in the background with the tea kettle going and making all the noise on the background here. So we have just a quick little recap, talking about organic. If you're just posting organic and not getting results, you gotta, flesh out and really get more strategic and start budgeting and getting, that set aside so you can have some ads. The second thing that we did was getting clear on your customer. Who is he? Who is she? And then what's their problems? What's keeping them up at night? How do you solve those things? If you have a product line that you have of maybe dozens of products, the company that I represented had 400 products. You can't market 400 products. You pick a handful that serves a very thirsty, hungry crowd that will buy that product. All your products may not be the ones you want to market in advertising and online. You might pick, ones that are following trends right now. It's a whole nother topic, but and then if you're going to run ads, you don't jump in without a plan. I mean, that is absolutely the thing. You've got to have a plan, or they're just going to eat your money. Like Pac-Man, you know, remember? Wah, 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 wah. That's Facebook will eat your money and not even care if you get any results. And so, you know, that's, you know, for some of you, I know you're already, you know, my clients and I work with you. And if you, you know, there's a lot of things that we have that are available to you. The, um, the community, the school community, there's a lot of training in there. I suggest you go through that. And if you have a budget and you want to talk about what we do, make sure you book I think we're calling it a quick start, like onboarding call. Make sure you do that. The links are all through the, let me grab it here. I could grab it. The links are all in the course. You can find that. And I've got some of my peoples are in there responding to all of the messages we get every day. We have I could tell you how exciting this is. We have this community opened not even about a month ago. We already have 1,000 members in it. I mean, does that tell you how people want to learn how to run ads, right? It's really a big thing. But in the community, there's a lot of training to get you started. And then as you participate, you get, you know, that unlocked. It's a game, right? That's how school runs. But there are, you know, there's people that are wanting to learn more. And we are doing a quick start call that I'm going to grab the link here. If you haven't done it already, you might have already done it. Oh, that came out. Hold on. It's got a UTM tracker on that link. I better not. If you run ads, you know what a UTM tracker is. Oh, come on. Let me grab it here. Here we go. A UTM tracker is a way you can find out where people come from. There you go. If you want to talk to us about your ad strategy and if it's the right time to learn them, then you can hop on there. We can help guide you on what you need to do. We're also going to be launching some stuff in the next couple weeks. I mentioned earlier at the beginning, if you came in, I'm thinking about doing a way to close people, how to talk to people. It might maybe happen in March. We'll see. I will see. I'm not convinced on that. I have another program that I'm tidying up on writing your first ad. It's a self-study thing, and it's the first step in the water for people that are a little tighter in the budget department. It's just getting people rolling, but I'll be announcing that in the near future here. So yeah, and come to the Wednesdays and you know get your calls booked if you haven't done that, and keep your eyes peeled. I think next week I'm going to do. Oh yeah, Ternant is wonderful. Sharon. Oh yes. I love Ternant. Actually, I usually have that in here. Activate before I get on the call, but I didn't get a chance to do that. Oh, I love Activate. It does. It helps. Actually, I told Sharon this. It's meant to help like your appetite, your GLP-1, da da da. But what it does for me, Activate, it makes my gallbladder happy. Like, okay, like, hello. It's like, for me, I was like, I like that. Okay, let me look here of what we're going to do next week. Why most ads fail. I'm going to do that next week. Just, I want you to pencil it down. So let me check here if there's anything in the chat. Da 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 da. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. If there's anything I missed, pipe in. I just see good. This is exactly what I love. I love seeing people, and I love what's happening even in the Likes Leads community and school. is that people are talking to each other and they're creating community. For those that, thank you, Sue. For those that wonder why, why I'm using Skool, is because what's happening in there, if you look, is exactly what I wanted to have happen, where people are talking to each other, they're supporting each other, they're learning. Facebook groups, I love Facebook. I absolutely do. But the groups suck. They suck. And until they fix that, and I love having when you do like this type of thing, I actually like it's my group. I'm not going to get any thank you, Brandy. I it's my community, right? I have that community there. And that's why I moved it from Facebook over here. That Facebook group has over 5,000 people in it. Nobody knows what's going on. They never see anything. And so that's why I moved it to Skool. So welcome. Welcome to Skool. We've been open a month and we have 1,000 people. That tells you how amazing Skool is. And so I will see all of you. I got to jump on to my next thing. And you're so welcome, Tim. Nice to see you here. I got some new faces. Let's see. I'm looking for the super newbies. Crystal, I think, is new. Lael, I know you. I know Deb. I know Ruth. I know Sue. Rick is new. Jean is new. I think Stephanie, I think you've been here before. I think Patty, you've been here. Trisha, I know you've been here. Big Mike.
No,
Lori,
I'm new. Stephanie's new.
you are new, Stephanie. Well, welcome today.
Thank
Kimberly,
you.
I think you're new. Who here is not new? And who is new? Drop in the chat before you jump. Not new. Maria, I joined a bunch of singer musician groups and yeah, it's all foreign. Well, look at not new. New. It's like about 50-50. Oh, love you too, Ruth. Ruth is amazing. Wonderful to see you. I always love seeing you every time. I love seeing you in the school. It's like weird, the school thing. I keep spelling it wrong. I spell it Skook instead of school with my finger misses the L and it goes to the K. All right, everybody. Well, I will see you next week. I gotta go do some learning myself. I'm like putting all the stuff in my brain. And this recording will be up. If there's anybody that you want to listen, have them come into the school. The school is still free. Like I said, I'm not sure what we're going to do in the future as far as even for the public, but right now, add people to the community. If you have not booked your quick start call, make sure you do that, especially if you're thinking you really want some help with some ads. And then I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.